And... Ren nearly wasn't here, but unfortunately for you, I lived it. My apologies.
Oh,
I'll try to continue not being alive in the future.
what? Is that a woman? What?
Listen,
I thought those didn't exist.
you go off and write the Wikipedia page without jaunt. You know what?
Whatever. Oh, okay. So I have about 66 hours on this account, give or take. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this review real quick. What is Warframe? Well, it's a third-person looter shooter with space ninjas, with lore about as complicated as Warhammer and how ridiculously stupid and massive the lore is, weapons comparable to British tank design, and a story that might as well have been made by a edgy 14-year-old on DeviantArt with a Shadow of the Hedgehog profile picture, with space teenagers piloting war machines, and a space mom, Edgelord incarnate, and whatever the f*** this thing is, with the premise of the game revolving around a core gameplay loop of murder, grave robbing, and appreciating the fine art of the game, which is masterfully crafted by some of the best 3D artists. You can even fashion frame and show your drip to the two people that actually pay attention at a relay. Anyways, what is your motivation aside from... The game takes place after the fall of a highly advanced civilization, with a former empire of great esteem called Rome. Sorry, I don't know what came over me. The Oricon, and as all empires before, falls because of some dumb, lame-o mistake, the resulting collapse leaving a large power vacuum which is filled by three primary powers. The British, who are genetically engineered clones, who all have a... face only a mother could love. Being the local warmongers, stealing colonies right from under people's noses, and...
They're called the Grenier, not the British.
What do you mean they're called the Grenier?
Literally just look on the Wikipedia for 3 seconds.
But they're so... ugly, and probably drink tea. Oh, look at that thing and tell me it has seen a dentist. Okay, who's next? Oh, Americans, who are about as capitalist as you can get, quite literally being known as the taxmen, with most of their people being heavily in debt and working till either they fall dead or are chopped up into little bits to have their body parts sold.
Hey fellas, that was me. Nah, you just missed a beat. No, I didn't do nothing. You don't understand. Stop!
Ah, the American dream.
Once again, they're called the Corpus, not the Americans.
They're called the Corpus?
I don't know how you keep getting these wrong.
How do I keep getting these wrong? God damn it! And finally, the player faction, which is entirely composed of child soldiers. Ugh, that's not the best appearance, Miss Lotus. The UN might have to get involved, if that even is your real name. Now you may be wondering, what about the game itself? Well, after watching a cutscene, fucking watch it. It is so goddamn good. It's on par with fucking Blizzard cutscenes. You are put into the boots of a Warframe. With a Warframe having just been woken up from a nice coma by this guy who puts a collar on you for his erotic Discord roleplays. Oh, God! However, after he leaves, you're promptly given your Mighty Morphin powers from Space Mom, which you use to promptly murder anyone in your vicinity. Now having your first taste of blood, that can never be quenched. You promptly arm yourself and leave the area, and now we meet everyone's favorite robotic companion, Ordis.
Why did the operator abandon me?
You're so funny, Ordis. Now after realizing why there is an option to mute Ordis in the settings, Space Mom sends you on a series of quests, and while you are on these quests, Vor is now using the collar he put on you to telepathically slide into your DMs and convince you to become a kitten for him and his mommies. Ugh. However, you already have a mommy. Space Mom. Thus you work on getting a pair of scissors to cut off the collar, and eventually you get all the materials you need, and Vor gives you this dumb monologue.
It's over, Tenno.
Before you head to Mercury to kill Vor. Oh!
Our love will be reborn as we eat on your divine blood.
That's why he's called Captain Vor. Ugh. Now that Vor is taken care of, you are now given. What the f is this, Space Mom? This is my first and really only issue with Warframe. The fact that it begins so strongly narratively, but then just blue balls you, leaving you wanting more, which you won't get until Space Mom thinks you've worked hard enough. And I understand this is due to the MMO aspect of the game, in which there are so many features that it's kind of hard to compartmentalize all of them while having a way for players to be led to those features, leading to one of the worst cases of feature creep I've seen in any game. However, that has more to do with gameplay and its general progression, so let's talk about that for a moment. Warframe kicks serious ass with its gameplay. Warframe will have you making unholy sounds when you pin some poor soul to a wall. Even if you're not one for grinding like in most MMOs, I'm looking at you, RuneScape, the gameplay entirely makes up for it. And there is no word in the English language to describe the absolute power fantasy that Warframe gives you with its gameplay. And I don't know if it's a bug or not, but I don't care. While you're mowing down dozens of enemies, you'll just shoot some poor Grenier, and he just instantly blips from existence, just
I'm Husika Quix. Hunstukulete Hilnorea. Roar! Grat! Click!
匂いがしてきたにゃ。
Roar! Grat! Grat!
見たことない。
Or no! Or no! Or no!
This isn't even including the movement, which makes you feel like an F-16 flying over all the simple plebeians that can't afford healthcare. Truly the land of the free. Honestly, the fluidity of the movement, I can compare to Titanfall, which, if you have played, you know is about as fine of a compliment as a compliment from Gordon Ramsay. And in general, I really enjoyed the core gameplay loop of completing missions, ranking up your equipment, gathering resources, and manufacturing new weapons, frames, etc. Upgrading and improving your mods on said equipment, and thus allowing you to do more shooty-shooty, seeing big number, and getting those oh-so-sweet dopamine hits, as if you're a toddler eating a Snickers bar. This also includes mission types ranging from stereotypical kill everything, defend an objective, escort missions.
I'm in your debt, Tenno. Let's go home.
Oh god, I'm getting flashbacks.
Leon!
To the more interesting stealth missions with unique vault layouts with things such as vents to sneakily get around the enemy, covertly entering the vault and hacking it right under their noses, or just walk right in and use a cipher to hack the vault instantaneously, not giving a fuck. With hacking usually being an actually pretty fun minigame, with the Corpus and Grenier having their own unique styles, and hacking being just short enough to never overstay its welcome, as well as other mission types such as interception and survival. Survival being my personal favorite, which is an endless horde mission in which oxygen supplies cut off and you need to either use life support canisters or personal life support modules from the enemies you've slaughtered, being a really good mission type for farming loot, ranking up your equipment, and opening relics. And finally, the last mission type I'll cover, which aren't really even missions, but free roam environments, such as Cetus on Earth and Fortuna on Venus, in which you go around doing bounties for the local factions, gaining reputation with them as you complete them, and reputation being a mechanic that applies not only to these special factions, but also to syndicates, which are special groups of interest that you can align yourself with, gradually gaining reputation as you do missions for them. Ranging from protect and aid the weak, Buddhism, knowledge, capitalism and the free market, French Revolution but extra edgy, and Nazis. This isn't even including the more miscellaneous ones, such as Samaris, who, oh, we will get to you later, my sweet narcissistic prince. And having gained enough reputation with the given faction, you're able to either spend it on goodies that the factions offer as a, hey, thanks for ruthlessly slaughtering all of our enemies, or to rank up your standing with the faction to get more options for goodies. The various goodies being things such as blueprints or mods, blueprints being what you need in order to assemble things at your foundry on your ship, and mods being upgrades to your equipment. And for the weapons you'll get from either buying the limited options on the market or assembling them are plentiful. There are probably around 500 weapons to choose from, ranging from your Call of Duty rifle to a pistol that allows you to shoot globs of elemental goo. It's highly doubtful you won't find a weapon that suits you. You can use bows, shotguns, revolvers, daggers, longswords, and even katanas. And while we're talking about weapons, let's also talk about the Warframes, the namesake of the game. Well, just like the weapons, there are a metric ton, 93 to be exact, including variants, each having 4 unique abilities, their own playstyles and aesthetics. You want to win? Use Rhino. You want to win while scrolling TikTok or YouTube Shorts? Well, there are actually quite a few options. You have a thing for blood? And I mean you really have a thing for blood? Play Garuda. You have a thing for Vor? Play Grendel. Actually, there are a whole lot of labels you can attach to just about any Warframe. Fortuna, Furry, Hildren, Muscle Mommy, Yoreli, Magical Girl Idol, Weeb. What am I saying? I watch VTubers. Hydroid, Tentacles, Excalibur, Diaper. You sad, sad, pathetic man. Or Wisp, if you hate feet, but like... There is a Warframe for just about anyone, whether it be for aesthetics, gameplay mechanics, or degeneracy. Lastly, we have the more miscellaneous mechanics, such as Arcwing missions, which have you flying around in space shooting stuff, Railjack missions, which have you in a ship flying around shooting stuff, the two of them being integrated. Also, Railjacks are really cool, being made extra cool by having the coolest character, Cephalon Psy, but we'll get to him later. Though, I do have a gripe with the Railjack missions, and it's the fact that things aren't scaled well. Why is my Warframe like a quarter of the size of this ship, but when I go inside, my Warframe is tiny in comparison? It's not game-breaking, but it bugs me. Additionally, there are Void Relics, which are collectibles you get during defense, survival, or spy missions, which you can open on special Void missions, in which you have to kill corrupted enemies to collect their souls to open the relic. Once having done so, you have a random chance to receive any of the items listed here, and with you being able to upgrade a relic to increase the likelihood of getting better loot, and this is also the only way of getting special equipment such as primes and Forma. Now, I could explain how Forma works, or how Orkan reactors work, all the different planets, enemy types, how trading works, how do I make friends. Please! I'm so lonely. Yada yada, but that would take way too long and make the video way too long. So, if you want to know more specific stuff, such as the Steel Path, there is a large community out there to help you. And Warframe, being a game with about 50,000 average players, has quite a blossoming community, with the Warframe Reddit being a really good place to ask specific questions about the game or just engage in average Reddit activities. Discord being included in this as well, alongside the in-game chat, which you can interact with, usually being full of people advertising trade offers or discussing the best builds, and I'm 99% positive if you ask for help there, you won't somehow get into a 3-hour debate with someone. Like in other games. I'm looking at you, StarCraft 2. With the community being pretty friendly universally, and usually whenever you go into an assassination mission to grind for frames in the early game, there is some uber powerful 2k hours in the game player who will just do the mission in 5 seconds to help out new players on their grind, which I appreciate, despite me always playing solo, only doing squad missions every once in a blue moon because I have no friends that play Warframe.
Hey, what are you doing, my dude?
Am I doing?
War economy?
No. You see, it's not actually war. It's a war against the patriarchy, you see. Hitler is the greatest feminist that's ever lived.
Oh god.
You see, this is if Hitler's wife was one of those people that was like, I can fix him.
Oh my.
And
No,
she
this
succeeded.
No, this is the one British plan where they plan to just dose Hitler with so much estrogen he'd get motherly instincts.
The town inside me.
And just like in any video game community, there are content creators, some of which I'm a big fan of, and one of them being the reason I got into Warframe in the first place, so I'm going to go over the two big ones for me personally. First is the Kengineer, who is a really helpful resource for all things Warframe related, having a plethora of videos detailing different game mechanics and how to get specific frames or how to farm them, all of his videos being very useful. And the video I got the most use out of is a video explaining how level scaling works, as around the level 15 range the game's difficulty massively increases, which helped me not instantaneously combust upon entering a mission. Thumbs up, Kengineer. I'll put the link to him and his level scaling video in the description. Now, the next content creator is
Triburos.
Romanian.
Triburos is my personal favorite content creator, and the reason I got into Warframe. He has very well crafted, edited videos, mostly covering the different Warframes, his videos being very informative about the Warframes, their abilities, builds, etc., while speaking on the game developers and joking in his own unique way.
Overguard gave Calorvo a similar level of protection to that of a condom made of silk string.
Also, one thing I would like to mention is that he has a very nice voice. There is just something about the inflection of his voice that makes whatever he's talking about very important, and it always keeps you engaged. Now, I'm not an ASMR guy. Usually whenever I do listen to ASMR, it's either a laugh fest, because how can you not laugh at this? Or uncomfortable because either A, too many noises that make my skin crawl, or B, they're just... But I would legitimately listen to ASMR of Triburos telling me to fuck off for 2 hours. I give him 17 Inaruses out of 3 VTuber ASMRs. I'll link him in the description. And one last thing about the community. There are plenty of community tools available for you, such as the Warframe Wiki if you want to read up on lore, weapon stats, etc., and Warframe Marketplace for all of your trading needs, which are just more resources to aid you on your journey of unyielding blood-fueled hedonism. Now, as we have covered the game, what about the game developers? Digital Extremes are definitely masters of their craft, and it certainly shows with Warframe's environments, from the sprawling untamed forests of Earth to the rusty industrial landscapes of Ceres. And another thing I can mention when it comes to Digital Extremes is their failed prototype for Warframe, Dark Sector, with the game having similar elements to Warframe and even having a proto-variant of many things seen in Warframe, such as the signature Excalibur being in Dark Sector. And you can read or watch plenty more about it on Wikipedia or here on YouTube. This all culminating in the development and eventual release of Warframe. And early Warframe is very different from modern Warframe. The UI, graphics, missions, bosses, just about everything was drastically different, with the exception of Rhino. It's genuinely interesting to see that with all of the Warframes that were available at release, all of them have changed so drastically with the exception of Rhino.
And as the stars dim and the universe grows cold, the unrelenting path of time carves through all who oppose it. Yet, there it stands, in defiance of the degradation of time. Live until only these are known. Time and Rhino, immovable, unyielding, eternal.
Yeah, Rhino is the most balanced Warframe. If that entire creative writing assignment wasn't enough, Rhino is impossible to mess up, as his synergies and core design are so perfect that they quite literally need to do nothing and Rhino's perfect. Compare that to all the other frames in which there have been rework after rebalance after augment. It's a genuinely interesting case study in game design and balance. Though, in a PvE game, such as Warframe, balance isn't exactly, heavy quotation marks, the most important, so there is some leniency. Though, you do still want there to be a challenge as an incentive to improve, but in my experience, PvE games don't require such perfect, fine-tuned balance you'd see in games like StarCraft, with there being plenty of room for stupid stuff. Some perfect examples being Deep Rock Galactic or Dying Light. I mean, come on! You can drop kick people! There is no skill, no strategy, and certainly no reason. aside from the fact that it is stupid and cool as fuck, pretty much the only thing you need to look out for when balancing a game like Warframe is just making sure that a weapon or frame doesn't have absolutely no reason to be used, being entirely useless 99% of the time, and even in the 1% of cases in which you can actually make use of it, there are 20 far better alternatives. Also, a fun little side note, the community manager for Warframe, Rebecca, is also the voice of Space Mom.
I thought I lost you.
Now, let me use this as a lazy segue into characters. There are many characters in Warframe. Some memorable, some
I've been
thinking.
thinking.
Ordis, shut your mouth! Ordis is generally very hated by the community. Once again, there is a reason you can mute Ordis in the settings. But, honestly, I don't mind him too much. Though after 20 or so hours, he does start to become that one artist that no matter how long it's been is still somehow omnipresent. And no matter how many times you try to get people to listen to something else because you fear that at the current trajectory that the artist could actually start a f***ing dictatorship and begin the next great war, they just won't. Because it's not a question of how good the music is or what it means. It's a question of brand recognition, parasitic tunes, and whether or not you can bear each other's children. You thought I was talking about BTS or some other Korean music group. No, I'm talking about Taylor Swift. K-pop is foreign. I can easily ignore that by selectively listening to Fox News.
Ever notice that it's the highest paid people on television who are the most determined to convince you that white supremacy is America's biggest problem? Why is that? Simple. Every minute you're angry about race is a minute you're not thinking about class, which of course is the real divide in this country.
Next up is obviously Space Mom. Now, I want to get this out of the way. The voice acting can be subpar at times, and I think this is mostly due to the age of certain lines.
I thought I lost you.
Isn't that just dripping with emotion? Overall, Space Mom is nice to have, and definitely won't abandon you down the lines. Also, there is this time that Samaris absolutely roasts the out of Space Mom, and I love it.
Cephalon, why did you withhold this information?
You withhold as much, Lotus. My motives are above substance, above you.
I love my narcissistic yellow D-pad. Samaris is honestly my favorite character. I love how he just has absolutely no regard for personal space.
You may explore the sanctuary for new knowledge.
Thanks, Samaris. Now, you may say, Otto, you're being a hypocrite. When Ordis does it, it's bad, but when Samaris does it, it's good? And my answer to that is yes. Also, when you play the Octavia's Anthem quest, in the little boss battle at the end, when Samaris joins after shitting on music and he says how he doesn't want to help and is just protecting the sanctuary, you can almost hear the baka at the end of his sentence. Samaris is a tsundere confirmed. I am not a tsundere! Also, Samaris clearly hasn't listened to good music. I'm talking about Marty Robbins, Tool, Steam Powered Giraffe, and of course, Weird Al. This isn't even mentioning his silky smooth voice. Samaris is up there with the likes of the Arbiter from Halo and Adam Jensen from Deus Ex. I wish I could get Samaris to narrate an audiobook or something. Imagine lying in bed and falling asleep to Samaris reading the Communist Manifesto. Also, I like it when Samaris gets angry. Two more characters I want to mention are Sai and Tyler Rigor, the two of them being met later on in the game. Sai being your AI companion for the Railjack, and he is just cool. Imagine every action movie hero, Call of Duty white man, and video game cool dude. That's Sai. Sai is infinitely, like, he's just so much better than Ordis. He has a nice voice, he's not schizophrenic, and most importantly, he has an infinite amount of one-liners.
Bullshit eliminated.
Honestly, Digital Extremes should add the ability to get alternatives for Ordis and Space Mom, kind of like the voice packs for StarCraft 2. Now, for the last man I desire to speak of is the brilliant Tyler Rigor. I am in love. Not only does he have a creamy, delicious voice, he has an IQ that surpasses that of even Rick and Morty fans. And not to mention his monstrous thighs. This man is thick with 3 C's. He is thicker than the thickest of Americans. He is thicker than the thickest of anime women. What the fuck? He is thicker than even your mother. Now that's really saying something. This man is a pleasure to have as an antagonist. I want to strip him of his armor. For gameplay reasons, of course. Also, the voice actor for him did a in-character playthrough of Undertale, and I thought it was really funny.
Be good, won't you, my child? Alright. Yay, I win!
All in all, they have their own unique personalities, and you'll have plenty of choices to pick your waifu from. Though, I think we all know who the objectively best choices are. Let me think here. I'm running out of brain. Closing miscellaneous information. Every year, the developers host a convention called TennoCon, in which they talk about the game, show off new content, maybe tease a new update, and generally interact with the community. It's actually pretty neat, with there being cosplay, community Q&A, etc., and it's live streamed as well. There's music in the game, which is pretty pog. Not just instrumental, but with lyrics.
Cold, the air and water flowing hard, the land we call our home.
Stuff like We All Live Together and Sleeping in the Cold Below, all being quite good. Also, on the Warframe website, there's this massive list of Warframe content creators. Artists, streamers, video creators. Is that the term for someone who makes YouTube videos? I don't know. So if you ever want to find someone to watch or see some cool art, there's the place to go. It'll be in the description. Look, there's even a VTuber. Please, I desperately need help. And lastly, the game being free-to-play means that there is a premium currency known as Platinum. Though it's not like most games in which it will nickel and dime you through the entire thing, and you can easily play free-to-play, and play free-to-play. That's a weird sentence. The only thing is that you need Platinum to buy slots for equipment, but you can easily farm Nightmare missions to get rare mods and such, then sell them to others for Platinum, so it's not a big issue. Anyways, I rate Warframe 10.
Do you realize your Lotus has sent you to die?
Out of 1.
Look at them! They come to this place when they know they are not pure.
So
Behold
you're
the
just gonna keep
Tenno!
talking?
Come to scavenge and desecrate
well, have
this
fun doing that.
sacred realm. Now I will stop them. Now I
this
am
is
changed. Reborn through the energy of the Yanis key, forever bound to the void.